Hey everybody, so I just want to do a quick video on something I touched on last week, and news broke about this last night, and it's the Artemi Panarin contract situation in Columbus. It came out last night that through Artemi Panarin's agent, that he will not sign anything before the end of the season. They're not even discussing, they're not talking contract at all. He's just focused on playing the rest of this season, and then at the end of the year, once the season's over, then he'll start talking about contract and where he wants to play and what decision he's going to make. And that's big news because I think if you are Columbus, you wanted to sign this guy now. You wanted to get him locked up long term during this season before the trade deadline and get this whole situation resolved. And now it looks like that is not going to happen. So the initial reaction from social media, Twitter, Facebook, everything, when this news broke was, bye-bye Artemi, he's gone, he's not going to re-sign in Columbus. That was my initial reaction as well. I think this really hurts Columbus's chances of re-signing Panarin. I think if he really wanted to stay in Columbus, he would just sign there long term, right? Anytime they can get a deal done, he would lock it in, and that would be it. I think Panarin really does want to leave Columbus now. Now, after listening to some of the analysts during the games last night talk about it, I don't think Columbus is necessarily out of the running as much as I did when this news first broke. However, I do think that this significantly sways the pendulum towards him leaving. I'd say, I was pretty 50-50 on him last week. I was like, maybe it's a 50-50 shot whether he stays or goes. But now I'm thinking it's more like 75-25. 75% him leaving in free agency, 25% him re-signing in Columbus. Because I think if he wanted to stay in Columbus, he would get this deal done during this, as soon as possible. Not wait till the end of the season. It's kind of like the John Tavares situation almost, where he didn't re-sign during the season, and then it got to the point where it's like, all right, we're just going to wait until after the season to see what happened. And then at that point, he was pretty much gone. I think people are seeing a lot of similarities in this situation as well. So I think this significantly decreases the chance of Panarin re-signing in Columbus, which is not good news for Blue Jackets fans because he really is a very important player to that team. So again, now that makes the trade deadline all the more interesting for Columbus. They're a team fighting for the top spot in the Metro Division. They're a team that is thinking, deep playoff run, maybe even Stanley Cup this year. Do you trade away your best offensive player at the trade deadline because you don't think he's going to re-sign? Or do you just keep him this season, let this season play out, see how deep you can go, and then lose him in free agency? I would say I still think Columbus would lean towards keeping him and just seeing what plays out after the season. If I were the GM of Columbus, I would also be doing that. I don't think you can just throw this season away by trading Panarin at the deadline. I think you have to ride with him this year and see how deep you can go. Maybe you can make a surprise Stanley Cup run. Did anyone really think Vegas was going to the finals last year? I mean, maybe Columbus can pull off a surprise run this year. We've seen it plenty of times before where teams pull off runs who weren't exactly expected to be the Stanley Cup favorite. So maybe, if I were in charge of the Blue Jackets, I would not even think about trading him at the deadline, and I would just take my chances after the season, no matter how low those chances are. But Panarin looks like he will not be making any decisions during this year, so he's just focused on playing, and that whole situation is going to have to play out and be resolved after the season is over for the Blue Jackets. So I really think that hurts the Jackets' chances of re-signing him. I think it's most likely that Panarin's going to re-sign, or not re-sign, sign somewhere else in free agency once he becomes a UFA on July 1. He might be going back to Chicago. He wants that big city. I don't think LA as a team or a franchise is attractive right now. So, New York, Chicago, where's he going to go? Let's just say I would not be surprised if he re-signs in Chicago on July 1st. And that would immediately make the Blackhawks a much, much better team. I mean, they've got DeBrincat, young kid coming up. They've got some good young pieces there. They still have Kane and Taves. You add Panarin to that, and Chicago goes right back, right from being a last place team back to being a playoff threat. So, we'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. I don't know what's going to happen. I just think this does hurt Columbus's chances of re-signing him, and it's likely that he'll leave come free agency. So, with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media, check out offthewallhockey.com. All those links are down in the description below. If you'd like to further support the channel, the links to our merchandise store and Patreon page are down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.